As I mentioned earlier, our webinar entitled The 21st Century Skills Problem Solving, Coaching Students Dealing with Everyday Conflicts. So during this webinar, the 27th webinar, our speaker is going to present some skills and techniques on how to coach students in dealing with everyday conflicts. So you are going to learn about the different conflict styles as well as the solving strategies. Some conflict situation will be provided by you to work on and to solve by implementing the skills, techniques, and strategies that will be offered by our presenter. I'm really delighted and honored to welcome for the second time Mr. Hussein Kasras, who is an international trainer and co-founder at Global Bass Foundation.
Thank you. It's my pleasure again to be with you. Thanks a lot.
Yes, we're really delighted to have you. We have our participants are really amazed and impressed by your impressive presentation. For that, we wanted to have you again and again. So Mr. Hussein is a co-founder and trainer at Global Bass Foundation, founder and the director at Ribat International Conference on ELT. Also, he is a teacher trainer and a Cambridge certified trainer, a certified trainer. So Hussein, I hand the mic over to you. You can start. Thank you.
Thank you for this interesting introduction. All right. So do you see my camera first?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So hello from Morocco, Rabat. I'm very glad again to share with you one of the most interesting topics. It's not about teaching, it's not about training, but it's about coaching learners to deal with problems, how to resolve problems. Because I do believe that we as teachers all the time, we teach the four skills. We teach reading, listening, speaking, writing during the whole year. But we should also teach the soft skills outside the classroom. Students will face problems, challenges, issues, conflicts. So it's a great idea to coach them about how to resolve problems, because I do believe that life is a challenge and your job is to challenge the challenge. Great, so let me share first slides of my workshop. Just 1 second. And we get started. All right, so here you go. Just let me know if you can see the slides.
Until now, we can see the slides, sir.
You can?
I can, yeah, I cannot.
Great.
Yes.
You cannot see or you can see?
We can see. We can see it right now.
Great, thank you. So the topic of today is about the 21st century skills problem solving, coaching students in dealing with everyday conflicts. And again, I would like to thank the ELTA Virtual University for inviting me the second time. Thank you. Great. So today's objectives will be about number one, what do we mean by the 21st century skills and what are the 21st century skills? Then we are going to narrow the topic and we are going to focus on conflict. What do we mean by conflict exactly? Because learners might not know what is conflict exactly. Then we are going to put our learners into some situations, okay, to react. how they would address these kind of problems. And of course, we are going to teach them, to train them, to coach them about several styles when it comes to resolving conflicts. And of course, if you would like to solve problems, to resolve issues, what do we need? We need techniques and strategies. All right, good. The next slide. Here, my first question, what are the 21st century skills? Can you please write in the chat box, or we can talk, because here there is a moderator. Let me help you. We are going to focus on 4 major skills, and those 4 major ones start with C. So what are they?
So what are the 21st century skills? So if you want to answer this question, you can write on the chat thread. I will be sharing this with the presenter, or you can just use the raising hand option, and you can going to give you the permission to speak and to share your thoughts. So some of these on the chat thread, some are saying developing collaboration, communication. Some others are sharing teamwork, critical thinking, cooperation, communication. Mainly they are sharing, many of them are sharing the 4 C's: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. So socially active. Others are sharing leadership skills.
Great, very interesting. Thank you. So some of you were to the point. The 4 C's. Number 1, communication. Number 2, collaboration. Number 3, critical thinking. And number 4, it's creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, communication. Now, what's the relationship with the 21st century skills, the 4 C's, and conflict resolutions? Of course, you cannot resolve conflicts unless there is good communication between you and the counterpart, the other person. You cannot resolve a problem unless you think about solutions, okay? You cannot resolve problems unless you come up with new ideas, think outside the box. You cannot resolve problems unless you collaborate. And here, students should know about the importance of the 4 C's. Here, the explanation. Number 1, critical thinking. Our learners should know that they don't have to think, they don't have to talk a lot about problems. Switch again. They have to think and talk about solutions. We don't have to talk about coronavirus. We have to talk about how to solve the problem of coronavirus. We don't have to talk about exams are difficult. We have to talk about how to get good grades, how to prepare, etc. Number 2, collaboration. It's working together for one common goal. They have to work together. 2 minds are better than 1. Competition kills creativity. Collaboration boosts creativity. Number 3, communication. You cannot resolve the problem. If you have a problem, disagreement with another person, you cannot solve it unless there is a good communication between the 2. It's about conveying ideas. And number 4, that our learners should know, don't be a slave. Don't be a follower. Don't imitate blindly. Think outside the box. Be a leader. Believe in yourself. Come up with new ideas. So these are the 4 skills that will help our learners to resolve some of the issues. Any comments so far? Then we can move on to the next slide.
Yes,
Oh,
teacher. I'm
okay,
sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Also,
Yes?
you should push yourself to do something you don't not did it before.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, it's about creativity. Come up with new ideas, okay? Think outside the box, don't imitate, don't follow blindly. You have got a mind, so you are a leader, okay? You can resolve things by yourself and in collaboration with others. Thank you. Shall we move on to the next slide?
Yes, I think we should.
Great. Now, it's a kind of a demo lesson when I teach my learners or I coach my learners or trainees or even teachers or trainers about conflict resolution. Number one, we start with the warm-up activity. And I know that the majority know about this activity or this game called rock, scissors, paper. Rock, scissors, papers, or papers. I put my learners in pairs and I tell them to stand up and then they play the game. 1, 2, 3, you throw. You throw either rock or scissors or paper. Great. Now, the two students stand up, they go in front of the board and they play. 1, 2, 3, like this. So who is the winner? The rock or the scissor? Or the scissors? The rock mashes the scissors. The scissors destroy or beat papers, and the paper beats the rock. It goes like this. They have to throw 3 times, then we will see the winner. So let's play, let's practice. 1, 2, 3. Ah, so the rock mashes scissors. 1, 2, 3. Ah, papers beats or beat the rock. Great. The winner and the loser. We are going to have a winner and a loser. Now, the objective of this game is to ask your learners, how do you feel as a winner? And how do you feel as a loser? And they have to express their point of view. They discuss. Great. Of course, now the floor is yours, our audience. If you are a loser, how do you feel? And if you are a winner, how do you feel? Can you write in the chat box or you can talk? Yes, please.
So you can just use the raising hand option to share your ideas. Some people are sharing that it is a nice game that is very popular in Egypt. This is shared by Siham. Losers slightly discouraged. This is what one of them is saying. Wahiba excited as a winner and disappointed as a loser. We also use it from in Latin America. Some people are sharing that teenagers like this game. After losing, I want to try again.
Very interesting.
Someone is raising his hand, I think. Sorry. It's me. Okay, no one is raising. As a loser, I will try again. Maybe loser will be more motivated to do better next time.
Yes, but it's great. But I want you to take the role of the learner. How learners would feel. Of course, losers would say, yes, teacher, it's too bad. I feel so sad. I didn't like myself. And winners, I'm great. I'm the boss. I'm the leader. I feel excited. And then it's your job as a teacher to coach your learners. You say, wait a minute, come on. When there is a problem, when there is conflict, we don't want loser and winner. Loser and winner will not resolve conflicts. We want win-win situation. So both are winners. There is no loser because they feel it's too bad. The other one is great. So if you wanna, solve the problem, don't solve it like this. I'm the winner, he must be the loser, or I'm the loser and he is all the time the winner. No way. This is how we coach our learners. You tell them that conflict is like this. There's a balance. When situation, which means there must be discussions, communication, understanding, etc. Great. Now the next one is another game. It's about visualization. So here I show my learners, trainees, teachers, trainers, this picture, and I give them some questions. Now, tell me what's the job of the teacher here? Can you write? Or you can talk. The job of the teacher here.
So Asma is sharing that we have to teach our students that failure is the beginning of success.
Great. Wonderful. So what the job of the teacher here? Is his job to teach or to do what?
Someone
Is
is
to
sharing that he is a peacekeeper. Yes, go ahead.
to lead student to the success.
But look at the picture. What's his job? Here, according to this
Leila,
team.
Leila is sharing that he is going to solve the conflict.
Great, to resolve conflict. Thank you. This is the first question. Second question. Do you think that the teacher already taught about conflict resolution or only taught the four skills, reading, writing, speaking, and listening? What do you think, according to this picture?
Yes, Eunice, you can go ahead. Yes, Eunice. Unmute yourself and share your thoughts.
I think the teacher taught only the four skills because you can see the two students are barely fighting, you know.
Wonderful. Yes, here this picture shows that students have no idea about conflicts, have no idea about how to resolve conflicts. That's why we have this big issue in the classroom. And here it means that the teacher, he might or he may not, okay, coach his learn about conflict. Now look at the boy, the student with the glasses. What is he doing? The student with the glasses.
So Natasha is going to share her idea about that. Yes, go ahead, Natasha.
Great.
Hello, Natasha. If not Natasha, I think that Lina Bizrara said maybe he is astonished. And
Yes.
students keeps watching. Surprised maybe.
Great. All right. Now, what about the other student, the boy using his smartphone? What is he doing? Look at the boy with the smartphone. What is he doing?
Permission to speak?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the boy who is using his smartphone, I guess he is recording the fight between the two boys.
Yes. So he's not a student there. He's playing the role of the cameraman. Come on. There is a problem. There is conflict there. Students should also resolve problems. But look at the boy with the glasses. Maybe he is enjoying the scene and he's listening to music at the same time. The boy with the smartphone is filming. It's like theater. It's like a film. It's like a movie. Okay. And the girl with the glasses again, she's shocked or surprised, which means that all students have no idea about how to resolve conflicts, and even the teacher, he does not know how to coach, teach, and train students about solving problems. Again, the purpose of this picture is to show you that your job as a teacher, not only to teach the four skills, but to teach also the soft skills, and one of them is conflict resolution. Great. The next one. Now, the next is about brainstorming. I ask my learners, trainees, trainers, and teachers, what is the first thing that comes in your mind when you hear the word conflict? Can you please write again, the chat box, or you can speak? Give me one word. The first time you hear
Permission.
conflict, what do you think about?
For me, the first word that
Take the
comes in
role
my
of the
mind
learner, please.
when I hear the word conflict is problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My
Great.
first word is discussion.
All right.
Phenomena.
Nice.
So Jamila is sharing that disagreement.
Oh,
Wahiba, Sharifi, absence of cooperations, fights, misunderstanding, fights, many are sharing fight and problems, disagreement. So please, I would
thank
like to
you.
remind you that if you want to share your ideas, use the raising hand option. Go ahead,
Great.
Hussein. Thank you.
Thank you. Now here, the aim of this activity is to show you that our learners have got negative point of view about conflict. Some of you here, or the majority, said it's about dispute, disagreement, problems, war, conflict, etc. And all these terms that you associated with conflict, these terms are negative. Now, when you coach your learners, when learners view, think, and believe that conflict is negative, the result will be negative or positive. What do you think? Can you write again?
Noel, you can speak. Noel, can you hear us? So if not Noel, Eunice.
Since their brain is filled with negativity that is attached with conflict, so the
Thank
result
you.
it will be negative thought.
Great. Thank you. Very good point. Here we coach our learners that when you think negatively about conflict, of course, the results will be negative. So conflict is not all the time negative, but sometimes it is positive. Now let's look here what our students wrote when I asked them about this question. All of them said conflict is about argument, opposition, struggle, disagreement, war, dispute. And then I asked them, what do you observe? What do you notice about these terms? Are they negative or positive? They say, teacher, they are negative. Oh, so the result will be negative. Now, coaching them, let's switch from being negative about conflict to being positive. And then I ask them questions. Can you now associate any word with conflict that has positive connotation? Now, for our audience, give me some positive words about conflict. Yes.
Jamila, you can go ahead.
Thank you. I was thinking about communication, trying to ease the tension between the students, trying to find what is the real problem and talk about it peacefully, very calmly, instead of fighting or screaming or anything, which is negative.
Thank you, Jamila. We have Alicia. Alicia, can you hear us? So some people here, we have team player. Someone from Morocco is sharing knowing negativity from words. Tariq sharing productivity and perception. Fariha, disagreement and controlling problems. And Leila, problem solver. And Steve Jobs, or competition.
Great, thank you. Now, we do our best to coach our learners to switch from being negative about conflict to positive. Let me share with you what our learners wrote. They wrote, teacher, conflict is good now. It's about respect. Yes. When you resolve the problem, we start to respect each other. Teacher, conflict is about solutions. Yes. Great. And conflict is about understanding, collaboration, communication, etc. And here, this is the importance of coaching our learners Don't think all the time about conflict as something negative, but conflict can lead to respect, can lead to solutions, can lead to understanding, etc. Okay, great. Then we provide him with a definition. What is conflict? And here, because no two individuals have exactly the same expectations and desires, conflict is a natural part of our interactions with others, which means that wherever you are, you will have problems, you will have issues, you will have conflicts, but natural. Be positive. This is the conflict. You are my best friend. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to collaborate with you to resolve the problem. So be very positive. And this is the quote written by Thomas Clement. All right, great. Here, the next activity that I use with my learners, again, trainees or trainers or teachers, is my view. I call this activity my view because it leads to positive thinking. So look here, communication, we have CONFLICT, and then I switch students' views, students' attitudes, students' mood from being negative to being positive. I ask them to give me some positive words starting with C. For example, communication is something good about conflict. Now, our audience, give me a word, a positive word that starts with C and represents conflict. Yes.
Cooperation.
Great. Amazing.
Consideration.
Interesting. Consideration. Yeah. What about O? Openness. O.
Optimism.
Yeah, you must be optimistic.
Compassion.
Great. Very
Opportunities.
interesting. Thank you. What about N? Negotiation. N.
Someone is sharing neutral.
Great. Neutral, natural,
One
interesting.
nice.
Wonderful. What about F? Flexibility.
Yes, Sabrina, you can go ahead.
Future.
Yes. Future. Great. Very interesting term.
One is sharing forgiveness,
Great.
familiarity.
We have to forgive each other if we want to resolve conflicts. What about L? Learning, another term.
Leatherness.
Someone is sharing listening.
Leatherness. No.
Great.
Yes, please use the raising hand option to speak. Someone is saying leadership, loyalty, loving, learning.
Please, Ibtisam, I'm raising my hand. Low.
Yes, go ahead.
Low.
Yes, you can speak.
Yes.
Yes, you can speak. I
Low.
can hear you.
Thank you. Low.
The law. Great.
Sorry, maybe.
Yes.
Yes. What about I? Improvement.
Someone is sharing influence, interest.
Empathy.
Yeah, influence. Yeah, there is a common interest between the two.
Innovation.
Innovation, new ideas.
Intelligence.
Yeah, intelligence. Great. C, collaboration.
Empathy.
Yeah.
Empathy.
No,
Can I
so,
Speaking
please,
permission.
please use the raise in hand option to share your ID. Someone is sharing inspiring.
Great, inspiring, interesting. What about C, collaboration?
Can I speak?
Go ahead.
Curiosity.
Wonderful. Yeah, very interesting picture.
Connection.
Great. Yeah.
Care.
Care. Yes, care about each other. What about T, tolerance?
Samia wants to share something, maybe? Samia Asili.
Permission to speak again.
We have Ayoub Al-Idrisi. You're raising your hand. Can you speak?
Teaching each others.
Yes,
Teaching.
sorry? Okay.
Teaching.
So we
Wonderful.
have, all right. Mrs. Najwa Mustafa. Najwa
Yes.
Mustafa. Go ahead, please.
Teamwork, training.
Wonderful. Wow, I like it. Teamwork, working together for one common goal. Great. So the purpose of this activity, in my view, is to focus students' concentration on being positive. And you see, you may spend 5 to 10 minutes just telling them to think about the words that start with conflict and using words that have positive connotation. Did you like the activity, by the way? Do you think that the activity will help students think positively about conflict?
So maybe Alicia wants to share something. Alicia.
Yes, I think that this activity is very good because changed my point of view about the term conflict. So thank you.
Great. And this is how we coach our learners, because our learners are immature, they are adolescent, and they may not know about the other side of the picture. Because the other side of conflict, there is something positive. And we as a human being, we have to focus on the positive side more than the negative one. Great. So let's move on to the next. Here, we put our learners into situations and we ask them which style you are going to adopt. So here we have two situations. Number one, your colleague always frustrates you so much and you feel like you want to pull your hair, jump around the room and just scream out loud. Number two, your student who sticks vehemently to making troubles and refuses to be quiet. And here there are two situations. Here we ask our learners to react and what style you are going to adopt. And there are three major styles I would like to share with you. The style number one is avoidance. Number two, confrontation. And number three is collaboration. Now, my question, according to the two situations, which style would you adopt? Would you go for? Would you opt for? So let's start with situation number one. Two students, and one of them always frustrates you so much, and you feel like you want to pull your hair, jump around the room, and just scream out loud. So would you avoid? It's a conflict. Would you avoid or confront or collaborate? So what do you think? Can you share your thoughts?
Ghada is sharing avoiding. Jamila, yes, go ahead.
I think in this case, collaboration is good because if we try to avoid the problem, well, it's stressing us. This problem is stressing us. So if we keep avoiding the problem, we could have a fight with the student. So maybe collaboration is better in this case.
All right. Others?
Can you please mute yourself? So many are sharing collaboration, others saying collaborate and discuss, others try to engage them with the learning activities.
Great. Now, what about, we are going to see later, okay? Number two, your student, now you are the teacher. the first situation is about two students or two teachers, but the second situation is about you as a teacher and your learner. So your student is a troublemaker and he did things on purpose. So how would you react? Avoid, confront, or collaborate? Again, share your thoughts.
Yes, Lina, go ahead.
Well, for the second one, I think that confrontation is better because the teacher needs to say what he feels or about that behavior of troublemaking. So the students will know their limits and to stop. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Yeah, we will see.
Maybe let's see, Eunice.
I think for the first times you need to collaborate and communicate with your student, and then see his or her reaction, or is he getting better or not. Then you can move on to the second one, which is confirmation.
All right, very interesting. Good. Now, what is the best style for number one, number two? Is it to confront, to collaborate, or to avoid? What is the perfect style? Can you just write 1, 2, or 3? Okay, is it avoid, confront, or collaborate?
Many are typing collaborate. Some others are saying all of the three. Jamila
right.
said collaboration all the time. All three.
Okay, great. So I'm sorry to tell you that you are all wrong. Yes, because there is no perfect style, but it depends on the situation. It depends on the situation. But I agree to some extent that number one, there must be a collaboration, or avoid number one, then you collaborate, then you confront. But we cannot say collaboration is all the time the best, but it depends on the situation. Great. And here, how are we going to resolve problems? Basically, I coach my learners, providing them with 3 strategies, the 3 ones. Number one, we call it the I statements. Number 2, active listening. And number 3, problem solving. Now we are going to talk about the techniques, the strategies about resolving conflicts, because our learners should know how to solve problems. Great. Now let's start with the I statements. Look here. When there is a problem, conflict between 2 students, you blamed me, you took my pencil case, you said bad words to me, you laughed at me, you. Come on. You as a teacher, you have to tell your students, hold on, wait a minute. When there's a problem between both of you, don't start with you, start with I. And here it's very interesting how the pronoun I changes the situation completely, from increasing conflict to decreasing conflict. And here, the first strategy, we call it the I statements. So put students into pairs, they play roles, and teach them, train them, coach them. When there's a problem with another person, don't start with you, because the you, like this, you is all the time blaming. But I, self-awareness, I am responsible, I am part of the situation, and the I, decreasing conflict, etc. So let's see here. My question, how do you feel if I addressed these 2 sentences? Look here, I'm talking to you now. You haven't finished your task, which has put the project so far behind schedule, number 1. Number 2, you keep annoying me. You keep annoying me. How do you feel? Can you please write? Or you can talk.
So I think it's easy to blame someone you did You're responsible. You are a reason. You're right. Empower I statement. I feel like I'm attacked. I feel like I'm unmotivated. And we have here, maybe Lina wanted to share something.
Yes, please. Well, for the first one, instead of saying you haven't finished your task, maybe I should say, I did not provide you with an adequate timing so you can finish your task in. So I should be responsible in this case instead of blaming them.
Wonderful. Now my question, how do you feel when someone addresses you using or starting with you? How do you feel?
Yes,
Can I
Yunus.
answer?
Yes, Yunus, go ahead.
I feel like I'm disrespected and I want to respond. Thank you.
Great.
Yes, Jamila, go ahead.
I might feel angry, and when someone talks to me this way, it's the start of a fight, actually. I respond to this person. Respond.
Very interesting.
Adil Bilbagra is sharing, I feel frustrated. Dora,
Great. Yeah.
fire is rising up. And Jafar said, I feel like guilty.
All right. Yes. And the aim of this strategy is to ask your students that if you start with the you, it means you are not responsible, but the other one is responsible. And we don't want the person who has a problem with us to feel blamed, to feel depressed, to feel angry, because being angry, depressed, and blamed will not resolve the problem. And remember from the very beginning, I said, we need when situation. Great. Now, this is the I statements. Look here, the same question. How would you feel if someone that you have a problem, conflict with him or her, how would you feel if he or she started with I? I feel frustrated that this project is so far behind schedule. I get easily annoyed by a lot of distractions. The same question, how would you feel now?
I would like to remind you that if you want to share your experience or your thoughts, you can use the raising hand option to share your ideas. Yes, Jamila, go ahead.
Well, if it's this kind of situation, I would feel maybe empathy and try to help this person. So it would be collaboration and communication with this person.
Wonderful. So do you think that the conflict will be increased or decreased when you start with the I?
Totally decreasing.
Great. Thank you. And again, we coach our learners that if you want to resolve again the problem, the issue, start with the I, because again, win-win situation. If you start with you, there is no resolution. There is all the time escalating the problem, the issue, the conflict. Great. So this is the first one. Now let's move to some, here there is the difference. I statements, number one, less threatening. You, more threatening. So when you start with I, you calm down. When you start with you, there is a problem, okay? Number two, I statement, self-awareness. You are part of the issue. You are blaming me. It means you are escaping from the issue. Number three, personal responsibility. I'm also responsible. I'm not going to resolve the problem by myself, but I need collaboration with you. But you statement, you increase anger. And remember, when there is a problem, conflict, we want to be calm down, number one. But if you start with you, there is no calm down. There is all the time increase of the anger. And number four, decrease conflict, and you escalate conflict. And our learners should know about the differences between the two if you would like to solve problems. Great. Now let's practice. I put students in pairs again, and they have to complete this exercise. We call it reframe the blame. Look here, blame, red color, danger, too bad, embarrassing, difficult, depressing, I don't feel good. And reframe, color, green color, life, vitality, very interesting, nice, collaboration, etc. So you broke the computer, you. Reframe it, use the I. The computer is broken and I'm scared. We won't meet our deadline. I'm really amazed by the pronoun I. It's very magic. The magic tool, okay? Decreasing conflict. Now, for our audience, here, let's practice. You make me angry. Start with the I strategy. Start with the I. You are incapable of understanding. So let's do number one. You make me angry. Can you please write or you share your thoughts?
Dora shared, I feel angry and bad because of something.
Yes, sir. Interesting. It sounds like yes. It's less threatening. Wonderful.
Sana, can you go ahead? Raib Sana.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that I make you anxious. This is my answer.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that I make you anxious.
Thank you, Sana.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
Linda, maybe do you want to share something? Yes, Linda, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Well, I can say I'm sorry, but I feel annoyed. I cannot work like that. Thank you.
Nice. Yes. It sounds that I'm going to accept your statement. Yeah. And then there is a resolution about the problem.
Another one is sharing, I did not know that this can annoy you.
Wonderful.
And someone else, I get angry and I hope we make each other in a position of harmony.
Wonderful. Yeah. So when you start with I feel at ease, I feel comfortable, and I feel that I accept what you say, and then I listen to you. I keep listening. Great. Number two, you are incapable of understanding. What would you say here? So here, this is an exercise for our learners. So take the role of the learner and start with the I statement.
Can I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
I can say I feel no understood, so I try to explain me better.
Yes, very interesting. I like it. I feel at ease, comfortable, and I keep listening to you. So there is a mutual understanding. There is respect. Great.
Alicia.
I speak. I finish.
Okay. So Ghada.
Yes, I can say, please, would you mind repeat it again? Or would you mind give me some more explanations?
Very interesting. Yeah, I can't hear you. Can you please repeat again? Can you explain more? Wonderful. Okay, great. Because here, your job, when you have an issue, when there is conflict, your job is it to increase or decrease? Of course, to decrease conflict. And if you would like to decrease conflict, be responsible, less threatening, etc. So start with the I statement. Is it clear so far? Then we can move to the next activity.
Excuse me, sir, I have a question. Hello? Thank you.
Yes?
For example, for the second
Yes, please, go ahead.
For the second situation, can we use we, for example? Like the person is not understanding, and I would just say, okay, why don't we just try in another way?
Why don't we just try in another way?
Yes, because the person is not understanding what I'm saying, and it's frustrating me. So I just say, okay, let's try in another way.
Yeah, it's interesting, but here the purpose of this activity is to start with the I. Why? Because whenever there is a problem, conflict, disagreements, our learners or people in general, they start blaming others, starting with you. That's why here the purpose of this activity is to push learners to start with the I. The most important. And the I stands for self-awareness, being responsible of the situation.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So shall we move on to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Hello, I have a question, please.
Great. So the second, yeah, go ahead.
Can we relate this, like changing the you with the I, to the linguistic politeness theory? It is like a face-saving act, saying something in a less threatening way.
Can you please repeat your question?
Can we relate like changing the you into an I to the linguistic politeness theory? Like a face-saving act. We are saying the I like in a less threatening way.
Oh yeah, yes. Yeah, it goes like this, yeah. And again, when we are doing our best to decrease conflict, by the way, there are many strategies, but these are the very simple ones that you can use with your learners, because there are many other ones. But since the age of learners between 14 to 21 or 22, so these are very simple strategies, and students can approach them, can address them, and can understand them quickly and implement them in their everyday life. Yes, sir. But there are other strategies, especially if you have a good command of English and a good knowledge, then you can use other strategies about conflict resolution. But here, considering my workshop, and especially if you are teaching beginners or intermediate students, these are the simple and the best ones for this level and age of learners. Okay.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, most welcome. Now let's move on to the next slide. The second activity or the second strategy is about active listening. Why active listening? Because when there is a disagreement and two students are talking, they talk at the same time or not? My question, do they talk at the same time or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So when there's a problem or conflict, disagreement, they talk at the same time. Do they listen to each other actively or not? Do they listen to each other actively or not?
No.
No, thank you. Which means that one of the best strategies to resolve problems is active listening. And this is the activity that helps our learners to listen actively. How? Now, I put students into pairs again, or in groups, and they have to play roles. So tip number one, two students are going to talk about a problem, an issue. They go to the board and they have to talk, but we have student A and student B. Now I assign that student A, number one, we listen politely. Student A ask questions. Student A repeat what was said. Student A summarize. Student A acknowledge speaker's point of view or feelings. This is how we improve the skill of active listening, or how students listen actively. And then you switch. Student B will play the second role. Listen, ask, repeat, summarize, acknowledge. Because when there is conflict, students, they just keep talking. Teacher, he was the reason. and there is no understanding, there is no listening. And here, I want you, when you are coaching your learners, share inspiring stories with your learners, because the stories, especially if they are inspiring, they go to the heart. And if they go to the heart, they have positive impact on their behaviors, attitudes, feelings. And here I would like to share with you a story about Nelson Mandela. And I'm sure that all of you know who was Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela died a couple of years, and Nelson Mandela was one of the great leaders. And by the way, he was a universal leader, which means every single country believes that Nelson Mandela represents leadership. So one day, a journalist asked Nelson Mandela, Nelson Mandela, can you please share with us, how did you become a leader, and how all countries believe that you are a universal leader? Nelson Mandela smiled and said, you know, when I was a kid, when I was a child, I used to go with my dad, because my dad at that time was the tribe member, one of the tribe members. And at the end of the day, or at the end of the week, they used to sit in a circle, and they used to talk about the issues, problems, conflicts, suggestions, etc. about the tribe. As a kid, all the time, when I used to go with my dad, I noticed, I observed that my dad was the last to talk. My dad was the last to talk. Everyone was talking about the problems, the issues, the suggestions, the obstacles, the techniques, strategies. But I noticed that my dad was the only member, the only person to talk at the end, which means that listening to ears are better. To ears, listening is better than speaking, than talking. Great leaders are great listeners. Bosses are talkative. So listening is much more important than talking. So when you want to resolve the problem, my dad listened to all of them, listen to the need and wants of the tribe members. Then he had a global idea, a good insight, a good understanding. Then at the end, he shared his point of view. This is a story that you should share with your learners about the importance of being a good listener. Yeah, my question, did you like the story, and did you like the technique of sharing stories with your learners? If you would like to coach them about solving problems, do you share stories with them or not? Yes, please. Anyone to share?
Maybe we have Sana who is raising her hand.
Yes, it's a good idea to share stories with our students, because it helps to engage students in the learning process. So I think that it's a good idea to share with the students stories. Thank you.
Yeah, did you like the story about Nelson Mandela? Sorry, yeah, go ahead. Yes, sorry.
Okay, so I see here on the chat thread that it's a good idea. I do share with my learner, and they enjoy it. Yes, I'm always doing that. It helps. It helps me. It helps me to relate more. Telling stories is very important for them. And maybe we have Khalid, Otman. Can you share?
Yeah. Share stories with the students. You can make the students ask break, and make the class very interesting. Motivate the student to how to learn English or how to learn any materials. That's all. Thank you.
Great. Yes. Thank you. So The second strategy is active listening. So again, put your learners in pairs. They have to play roles and they can talk about a certain conflict, a certain problem. For example, one student makes fun of the other. Okay. And they have to go to the board and one is going to talk about the problem, but the other person should keep quiet. Listen, ask, repeat, summarize, and acknowledge. This is the best of the best to help your learners improve their active listening. Great. So let's move on to the next strategy, the third one. Great, problem solving. So we talked about the assessment, active listening. Now it's time for how to resolve it or problem solving. Number one, our learners should know that if they want to solve an issue, the place and time are very important. Choose the right time, choose the right place. Why the right time? Students may feel embarrassed. Students maybe are angry, tense, stressed, so you can't talk to them at that time. And choose the right place. In public, no, I don't think it's a good idea. In private, maybe wonderful. Or tomorrow, when the student or your friend is calm. Number two, which is very important, two students have got conflicts, but they are talking and talking and they don't know what the problem exactly about. So they should identify the problem. And number three, they sit together and brainstorm solutions. And here we are not talking about problems, but we are thinking about how to resolve the issue. And of course, as I said from the very beginning, win-lose situation, no room for improvement. Agree on a solution and avoid compromise or win-lose situations. We want at the end to coach our learners to believe that if they want to resolve problems, there must be only one situation, when situation, which means they have to sit together, to discuss together, to respect each other, to think about the issue, to resolve the problem, all these in pairs, in twos, okay? And at the end, respect the rights and values of others. And this is also for teachers. When you have a problem with a learner, please choose the right time and place. When a student is making a lot of trouble in class, number one, I don't address the problem. Basically, I just keep the eye contact. I send a message. I know that you are making a lot of noise. Great. Then I choose the right time, maybe at the end of the session. And the place in private, once everyone leaves the classroom. These are one of the best techniques. But when there is a problem in the classroom and from the very beginning you jump, no, keep quiet, you are making problems. Of course, you are not decreasing conflicts, but you are escalating conflict. So the place and time for me are the most important. And students should believe in one notion that at the end there must be win-win situation, no winner and no loser. Okay, great. Now, look here. I want to motivate our learners. I showed this picture, and this is very interesting. This picture shows that there is something bad and something wrong, and it's a bad smell. And difficult situations are part of conflicts. So let's imagine that your colleague, your student, your friend, your classmate has got a very bad stinky smell. How would you react? It's conflict. How would you address this problem? Would you tell the student directly? Would you tell your friend directly with a bad smell? Or you can use other strategies. So the floor is yours, our audience. How would you react?
Okay, Eunice, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Probably I would say like I have got a nice perfume. Would you like to try some?
Where are you from, Algeria or Morocco?
Oh, Morocco.
Yeah, Moroccan way.
Yeah, exactly.
But do you think it's a good strategy to give the perfume? Maybe indirectly you are hurting his feeling. You will understand that he or she has got a bad smell. But do you think it's going to work for him for the long-term objectives? Maybe the perfume is going to end. Then he needs another perfume.
I don't know. Maybe just make him pay attention that you are using a perfume that you would like to have some like.
So here, bringing the perfume, are you avoiding or confront or collaborating? You are somehow avoiding. You are somehow avoiding the problem.
Yeah,
Great, thank you.
Yes, exactly.
Others?
Because
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Because maybe if you address him directly, it might be a problem, you know. You don't know the techniques, of course.
All right.
Samia?
Yes, others? Yeah.
Samia Asli, go ahead. Do you hear us, Samia? If not, Samia Khalid Othman.
Yeah, I think a teacher must make another technique if some or any student got stink. You can talk with the student alone eventually. If he or she has a problem, maybe you can teach her solve a problem with the student, but you must respect the student in front of all the students in the class. I mean, respect the value, respect him. Maybe the student has a problem. We talk alone. At the end of the class, talk with the student alone if he gets a problem. That's all.
Interesting.
Thank
So
you.
in private. Thank you.
Yeah, private. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, great. My second question, and be honest, please. When you have like this difficult situation, when you have like this one, and your friend, your colleague, or your student, so basically, do you avoid or confront? Be honest and answer. Do you avoid or confront?
Can I answer?
Again, please.
Yes.
Can you repeat it, please?
Yeah, the question is sorry, our moderator, go ahead.
Okay, so go ahead, no problem. I just wanted to ask this, we cannot hear him perfectly, so please fix the problems. Okay, so we go to Ibrahim.
Yeah, so let's repeat the question. Be honest and answer this question. Basically, when you have like this difficult situation, would you avoid or confront the situation? Can you just write avoid or confront?
Can I speak, please?
Go ahead.
Of course, I will confront the situation. I will first like try to create a comfortable setting with my colleague, and I will assure that we are at the same position as colleagues and or students. And I will thirdly, I will like try to give him a choice whether I will be honest with him or not. And then I will explain the issue respectfully. I will try to explain kindly. And after I will finish the explanation, I will confirm that we are, I will confirm our relationship as friends.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Can I talk?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I could confront the situation, and because when we confront a situation, we look for a solution and we help someone else. Because if we avoid the situation, we are not helping the person who is suffering that uncomfortable situation. And as the last participant said, we need to look for the kind words we have inside in order to communicate the situation, look for a solution together, and then we can go ahead. We can make our relationship as friends or relative stronger than before, because we're helping them and they are verifying that we are looking for a solution on their lives, and they can go ahead too, and maybe they can get ideas from this situation for helping others in other time of their lives.
Great. So
Thank
I
you.
agree with you. Yeah, we must confront this difficult situation, because most of people, they feel it's embarrassing and they may hurt the feeling, and they try as much as possible to avoid. And if you avoid, you are the loser, and the person with the stinky smell is the winner. So let's see here. A difficult situation, what is it? Anything we don't want to talk about. It's embarrassing, it's difficult, it may hurt the feeling. Yeah, and B, we usually worry what will happen if we do talk about it. No, I'm not gonna talk about it. If I talk, he or she may feel like this, so we worry a lot. And C, if we do talk about it, we usually think and feel a lot more than what we actually say. Difficult situation is part of a conflict. Great. Here, how do we handle difficult situation? Number one, and I agree with the majority of you said, in private, not in public. 100%, I agree. And number two, some of you said to confront. Yes, be direct. Address the issue. Don't say, no, it's too bad, it's embarrassing, it's difficult, he or she may feel like this. No, but be direct. But how? Be direct and using empathy. And my question, what do we mean by empathy? Because it's a very important skill when you are dealing with conflicts and difficult situations. So what do we mean by empathy? A question for you.
That's a way that we can understand others as we were there, them, at a very moment of a situation. I think in private, and the last one has a relationship, because if we understand others, we can verify if someone else tell us the bad situation we are suffering. Publicly, we can feel ashamed about that. So if we understand others, we can communicate the situation privately in order to the other person don't feel like ashamed or embarrassed at the very moment that we are informing them about what's going on at the very moment.
Thank you. It does make sense. Wonderful. Great. Yes, so empathy is when you put yourself in the shoes of the others, is when you acknowledge the feeling of the others. I'm going to be direct. I'm going to bring a perfume. It's not empathy because he may feel embarrassed. I'm going to talk tactfully and in a nice term or nice expressions, and he may accept. This is empathy. So empathy is when you put yourself in the shoes of the other, how he or she would feel and react, which means you should use nice terms, nice words, nice feeling, etc. when you are handling difficult situations. Thank you. Great. Now, this is the summary. Can you please mute your mic? There is some noise there. Summary. And summary is a kind of practice. Now, number one, let's summarize what we have talked about. I think about that tomorrow is an expression that is said to, you have 5 letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, the complex. So what do you think the answer? I will think about that tomorrow.
Solve.
Yes, sir?
Solve.
Solve. All right. Others, what do you think? Solve? I don't think so. So remember, we talked about 3 styles. 3 styles. I think about that tomorrow.
To postpone the conflict.
No, postpone has got more than 5 words. Here we have just 5.
Avoid.
Thank you. It's the avoid the conflict. Number 2, it's not enough that I win, you must lose. Is an expression used to what? The conflict. How many letters? We have 1,
Sir, excuse me.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Can we ask Marian to close his mic because there is a lot of noise?
Yeah, so the moderator would do that. The moderator, please mute the mic of one of the speakers.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so who is that? Okay. Would you please unmute yourself because you are distracting the speaker? We have a kind of an echo from that part.
The mic of Marian, go to raise.
Can I speak?
Yes, please.
Yes,
Increase,
please go ahead.
increase the conflict.
Increase the It's somehow increase. Okay. Yeah, we will see the answer later. Number 3, you have 2 words. Tend to escalate conflict by triggering our shame and defensive reactions. I guess someone should mute his mic or her mic. So 2 words. Tend to escalate conflict. What is it?
I think the I statement.
The I or the you? Increase conflict. Is it the I or the you?
Increase the U.
The you. Thank you. You statements tend to escalate conflict by triggering our shame and defense react. Number 4, 2 words again, means dedicating your full attention to the speaker and giving a thoughtful response to what they said afterwards to resolve conflicts. What is it?
Active listening.
Active listening.
Thank you. Active listening. So let's see the summary and its answers. Number 1, avoid. Number 2, to confront. Number 3, use statement. And number 5, for active listening. Thank you so much. And if there are any questions, most welcome.
Can I ask a question, please?
Okay, go
Sure.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead,
All right,
please.
So far we have seen like what are the skills, soft skills that we should, or let's say must know to avoid problems or conflicts or decrease them. But I think the very important thing is how to acquire these soft skills. What do you think the appropriate strategies or ways of learning these soft skills?
Can you please repeat the question? There's an echo with another person talking at the same time. Can you repeat the question?
I think the speaker Marlon has to
Yeah, so the moderator
mute.
can mute the other speaker. Yeah.
Marlon, would you please mute your mic?
I think he hasn't realized that his speaker is on.
Yeah, I think so. Anyways, I will repeat my question.
Yeah.
I said that so far we have studied or tackled the soft skills that we should have in order to decrease conflict. But most importantly is how to acquire these or learn these soft skills, because it's not not going to be easy. You know, if you know like the I statement, you're not gonna apply it the very first time. Like when you are angry, how to control yourself and use the I statement, and so on and so forth. You know. So basically, how to learn them.
Yeah, very interesting question. Yeah, Now your job as a teacher is to train, to coach your learners. You put them into situations, role plays, they have to write a conversation, they have to act it out. So when you are, for example, teaching a certain lesson, it can be about, how to ask for advice or give advice or express your opinion. From time to time, you have to, to add some situations about conflict, and then you tell them to go back and use the strategy that we have talked about, like the I statement. Or sometimes some students may come to you, they say, teacher, we have a problem with Amal or Karim or James or Laura, and then you implement the strategies. Please don't talk to me, don't say you, remember, say I statement. Please listen, attentively, actively, then you can react, which means practice makes perfect. How they can learn this? Via practice and put them into situations. They have to be put into situations, play roles, write conversations, and of course, they have to use these strategies. It's very easy if they put these things into actions. My students, my trainees, even teachers, when I want to coach them about conflict resolutions, I put them, number one, into situations, and number two, they have to play roles implementing these strategies. These ways are the best, and you keep consistency on these things, not just one lesson and you forget about it, but from time to time you go back to the lesson about conflict resolution in your classes. So practice makes it perfect. I hope that my answer is a bit clear for you. You're most welcome.
Can I talk?
Yes,
Sir?
go ahead, please.
Regarding the embarrassing situation that we've asked to handle and to approach, especially in the part of directness, that we should be direct with the target person, can we say that we should give him an option and ask him whether I should talk about it or not, like giving him the option to choose between whether I should talk about it or not on a diplomatic basis?
Good. Yeah, it's a good way to start with giving him some options. Okay, if you would like to talk about this issue or not, but this is at the same time it's a confrontation. You are going directly to the issue, and of course, your job is to solve the problem. So here, just think about the place, the time, and the most important is empathy. If he or she is your best friend, yes, use some words that you think will make him or her feel at ease and comfortable. Then there is, communication, there is understanding, and there is respect between you and him. Yeah, I agree. If you would like first to ask him if he would like to talk about this topic or not, yeah, that's a great idea. But at the end, your purpose is to have win-win situation. If he said no, that means he is the winner and you are the loser. So there is no conflict resolution, which means that you have to think of other ways. The last way is to confront and to talk to him directly. Thank you, Muad.
Thank you so much.
Muad or Murad, I can't remember.
Muad, thank you. Thank you, sir.
May I speak?
Hello, I'm Jose from Panama. I just want to congratulate you all for this helpful and successful course talking about problem solving. I think also that observation is a good way for looking for a solution when we are talking about a problem. Also, we need to be focused on the solution and don't overthink about the problem, because I have realized here, for example, in my country, that we overthink, and then that's the way that we can feel like scared about talking a problem or looking for solutions. And I think that when we have a problem, the best solution we can do also is focus on the solution as well. Don't be focused on the problem, and then we can feel fearless at the moment, and we can infect other people talking about this feeling, this value, in order to go ahead and all together we can find like a solution. And as Mohammad said before, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. He said that we have to ask the other person if she or he is able to talk about the problem, and if maybe he or she said no, I don't want to. We can look for another way to help him or her, maybe by his or her family, or maybe one of his or her best friends, or something like that. We need to go ahead and look for a solution and don't stop. If we can verify a limit or a barrier for looking for that solution. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, George. Yeah, observation is one of the best ways that will help learners to resolve problems. Yeah, and of course, when you put them into situations, they act it out, and the rest of the students, they are going to observe how they react, how they address the problem. And you can also use some videos about conflicts when two people have got disagreements and how they resolve. They observe their feelings, their reactions, their words, etc. Very interesting point about observation to resolve problems. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
May I speak?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you, all of you, for this webinar on 21st century skills problem solving. Actually, it helps us as a learner to determine the source of problem and to find an effective solution. Indeed, I have two questions. My first question addressing to Mr. Hussein Qasras. As a trainer and a coach, in your point of view, what are the most suitable strategies and techniques that will help learners in problem-solving skills? My second question, as a learner in problem skills. And my second question, how should we go about effective teaching problem-solving skills in classroom, taking into consideration teaching methodologies in classroom? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah, for the first question about the techniques of problem solving, what skills we should coach our learners. As I coach you here and I trained, there are several skills, several techniques, strategies that you can use with your learners to resolve problems. But now, or number one, you should go back to your objectives. If you are teaching students and the age they are children or juniors or teenagers, is very important to take into account the level of learners and the age of learners. Then you can decide which skills you can use. For me, and it's based on my own experience as a trainer, I observed that both children, juniors, teenagers, and even adult learners, there is something missing with all of us, which is listening. We do not listen to each other. When I train teachers, a teacher will talk about his point of view or her point of view. We should go back to her seat or his seat. He doesn't listen to the other presenter, etc. It's a problem, and it's the same with students. So number one, if we want to resolve problems, one of the best skills is active listening. I cannot resolve the problem because I have a disagreement with another partner, and if I'm not listening to what he wants to say or what she wants to say, there is no resolution. So this is one of the best. It is active listening. Number two, is all the time we blame others. All the time we put the blame on others. And that's why I opted for the I statement, because the I statement will restrict your freedom from blaming to being aware of the problem, to being part of the problem. And these are one of the best. And of course, the third one that I talked about is problem solving. And here I would like to highlight on two terms, the time and the place. very important keyword to resolve problems, because we as teachers, sometimes we are angry, and when the student is angry, we jump on his and her words and we blame him. And your job is it to escalate or to decrease conflicts? Of course, to decrease conflicts. So don't jump and start arguing. Calm down, choose the right time, the right place. These are the most important. The second question, if I can remember, you talked about the effective skills that we can use in the classroom. Am I right?
Yes, of course, taking into consideration now teaching methodologies in classroom.
Great. Yes, of course. All the time, I do believe that learning is not only about teaching the four skills, reading, writing, speaking, and listening, but today, and due to the coronavirus, the wars, the problems, the issues, so the soft skills have become a necessity, a must, an obligation in our educational systems or in our educational programs, which means when you are teaching listening, provide them with the soft skills, communication, creativity. When you are teaching reading, writing, etc., this is one of the best is when you implement, you add soft skills in your lessons, because our learners will go outside the classroom, and learning does not, take place all the time in class, but outside the classroom. Once students leave the classroom, they will face challenges. And of course, in your classes, you will equip them and you should help them about how to resolve problems. So when I meet my learners, I said, you have to believe that life is a challenge. Life is a challenge. Life is a journey. So life is a challenge, and your mission, your job is to challenge the challenge. The most important. So please don't focus on the syllabus, don't focus on the four skills, but focus also on the life skills, the 21st century skills, the most important skills that will help learners to flourish in their personal and professional life. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, most welcome, Tarek.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much. So interesting.
Yeah, my pleasure, Raib Sana.
Really, thank you. It was
Thank
really
you,
helpful
Yusuf,
and
for
useful.
units, right? Great. So any questions, or we can call it a day? Yes, our moderator.
I would really like to thank you so much, and I would really like to share some of the great comments. So everyone is congratulating you for this great presentation, for sharing this great techniques that are really helpful, and they are really useful for the 21st century settings and education. I would really thank you, and we would really like to have you again and again in our webinar series. If we don't have, if no one has another question to ask for our speaker, so I think we would wrap up. So please, if you have any questions, you can share with us.
Yeah, here's some asks about the YouTube channel. Yeah, it's easy. Just write trainer Hussein Kasiras and you can find it on the YouTube. Thank you. Jamila.
Okay, Jamila. I would like to thank every single one of you for having taken the time to share your knowledge and experience. Thank you for your valuable contribution and inspiring insights. Our webinar series are continuing. Please do not forget to write your full names in the chat thread in order to receive your certificates. Hoping to have you among us in our upcoming webinars and events, inshallah. So please, concerning certification, please, if you are going to receive your certificate of attendance during the week before the next webinar, so please make sure that you check your names on the chat thread, on the participant list, it would be written correctly. It should be written correctly in English so that you will have your certificate with the name that you wished it to be in your certificate. If you are logging out with some names which are nicknames, I advise you to log out and log in again. So and write your correct English name. Thank you so much, Mr. Hussein. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Panama, for joining. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. See you next time.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you again. I do believe, and that's the thing you said at the end, you close with a flourish by saying that we have to make our student able to deal with life situations more than the 4 skills. I do believe on that. Thank you for saying at the end, you close with a flourish.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Joel.